Hello everyone, this is Andrew Pankin, also known as Riskmonger42, also known as Hunter as Batman, also known as, that's it. Anyway, welcome to the first installment of a new spin on one of my favorite MLB roster construction projects, a little something I like to call the All-Acquired All-Stars of 2015. Basically, this project highlights the top players who have changed teams during the 2014-15 offseason, whether via trade, or free agent signing, or other. I build two rosters, one for players acquired by American League teams and one for players acquired by National League teams, and then compare them to one another. Now, I've been making these rosters for the last decade. If you want to read more about them, check out my blog at thoughtsaboutbaseball.blogspot.com. But not since 2005 was I able to plug the teams into a video game and run a simulation about what would happen if they actually played each other in a mock World Series. In this case, I'm using MLB 14 The Show, and each league is represented by its 2014 league champions, the Royals and the Giants. This is what you're watching right now. Starting Game 1 for the home team American League is Jeff Samardzija, who went from the Oakland Athletics to the Chicago White Sox in a blockbuster trade early in the winter. The NL's top starter is Max Scherzer, arguably the top free agent to have changed teams this offseason, as he was signed by the Washington Nationals to a ludicrous 7-year contract with an even more ludicrous deferred payment schedule, which I won't get into here. Going to the bottom of the first, Scherzer's first batter faced is another White Sox acquisition, Melky Cabrera, who promptly lines a hit right over the head of shortstop Jimmy Rollins, getting things started off nicely for the American League. He would be stranded on base, and the game would remain scoreless into the third inning. Melky gets his second at-bat, this time with a man on, in which he picks up his second hit. A grounder through the hole on the left side, Melky is now 2 for 2. Both of those runners would also be stranded, and we would be locked into a pitcher's duel until the bottom of the fifth. Melky Cabrera facing Max Scherzer for the third time, and what should he do but line another base hit into center field? He's now 3 for 3, and as you can see in this helpful infographic, he's responsible for exactly 1/2 of the AL's offensive output so far. The next batter is versatile second baseman Ben Zobrist, acquired by the Athletics from the Tampa Bay Rays. The first pitch of the at-bat, the hit and run is on, Melky takes off, Zorilla grounds this one inside the third base line, just out of reach of Martin Prado. Melky hustles around second, and it's first and third now for yet another player involved in a trade by the A's, Josh Donaldson. After spending his entire Major League career so far in Oakland, next year Donaldson will be wearing a similar-looking uniform to the one you see now as a member of the Blue Jays. He'll have his traditional number 20 on his jersey next year, but whatever his number, he comes through to an extent here, with a little swinging bunt right back to the pitcher. Melky breaks for home on contact, and with no force out at the plate, Scherzer makes the smart play and goes to first for the sure out. But the AL strikes first and takes a 1-0 lead. That lead is being nicely preserved by Jeff Samardzija, who has a no-hitter going into the 6th inning. That is, until he faces new Miami Marlins second baseman Dee Gordon, who commits somewhat of a faux pas here by dropping a perfectly placed drag bunt down the third base line and using his speed to break up the no-no. Then on the very next pitch, Gordon would break for second and steal it easily. And that is Evan Gattis behind the plate, after all, throwing to Hanley Ramirez, two players who, interestingly enough, will not reprise their 2014 positions next year. Gordon would remain stranded on second, and the story of this game would remain Jeff Samardzija's pitching performance. Here he is, striking out Justin Upton for the third time in the 7th, and he was doing so well that the game decided to throw in a prepackaged highlight reel showing his 10 strikeouts so far. There's Upton getting frozen, DH Adam Lind looking silly, Jason Hayward caught looking there, Martin Prado goes down, there's Upton again, Matt Kemp fooled badly, there's the catcher Miguel Montero, Jimmy Rollins for the second time, and there's Upton's third strikeout, which we just saw. However, the next batter is Matt Kemp, another guy who's wearing the wrong uniform number, but the new Padres outfielder takes one to the opposite field just inside the chalk. It's picked up by Yoenis Cespedes. He's over in right, so that Melky Cabrera can play in left. But despite the Cuban's famous arm strength, Kemp is into second easily with a double. It's just the second hit allowed by Samardzija, but that's enough to get him yanked from the game by AI Ned Yost. The new pitcher here is Tyler Clippard, a guy who once closed for the Nationals, and he will likely start the year as the A's closer, while Sean Doolittle is on the mend. He would pitch himself out of the jam, striking out Mike Morse looking. Morse is so pissed that he skips a few frames on his animation, and it's still 1-0. Skipping past the rest of the uneventful middle relief extravaganza brings us to the top of the 9th inning and all-star David Robertson. Robertson famously took over from Mariano Rivera for the Yankees last year and parlayed his one successful season as a closer into a 4-year deal with the White Sox. He's being called on now to face the top of the order, including leadoff hitter Dee Gordon. The man who's responsible for half the NL's 2 hits tonight comes through again, lining one over the head of first baseman Brandon Moss. Then, in an interesting strategic move here, AI Bruce Bochy brings up Dexter Fowler to pinch hit for Jimmy Rollins in the 2 spot in the lineup. And now Dee Gordon is obviously an elite base stealer. Just look at those ungodly numbers in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. But with no outs in the ninth, they'd rather have Fowler get the tying run to scoring position with a bunt. But it doesn't end up coming to that, because Robertson plunks Fowler in the kneecap, putting runners on first and second. Then up comes Matt Kemp, who already ended Jeff Samardzij's night with a double in the 7th, and he takes a 3-2 pitch deep into straightaway center. It's a 3-run jack that puts the NL on top for the first time tonight. Here he is, heroically rounding the bases. He celebrates at home plate. Robertson has blown the save. His night is also over, as in comes new Astros closer Luke Gregerson. But the damage was done. Here it is again. And here is the new NL pitcher, Sean Kelly, another former Yankees reliever. He was called on to pitch only to Evan Gattis, who grounds out to Dee Gordon. And then in comes Casey Janssen, looking for the 2-out save. Jansen's first assignment is Colby Rasmus, the only player on the AL team who's actually qualified to play center field in most fantasy leagues. He grounds one up the middle to new shortstop Yunel Escobar, who just gets his glove on it. Who knows if Jimmy Rollins would even have reached that. So that'll bring up the red-hot Melky Cabrera. No reason he should stop now. He blasts a single to center, his 4th hit of the day. And now we see a familiar face walk out of the Royals' dugout as Billy Butler comes out to pinch hit for Ben Zobrist. Butler draws a walk here, loading the bases for the man who drove in the AL's only run on the night, the bringer of rain, Josh Donaldson. So the slugging third baseman steps in, bottom of the 9th, bases loaded, down by 2 runs, 1 out, and promptly grounds out sharply to third base. Prado goes to Gordon, goes to Morse, and that's a game-ending double play. Josh Donaldson snatches defeat from the jaws of a potential game-winning rally. Everybody's celebrating on the field. AI Ned Yost is just heartbroken. There's Casey Janssen, who somehow managed to hang on for the save, proving again why that stat is so overrated. Here's some fun stats about the game. You see Jordan Walden gets the win as he pitched the scoreless 8th inning. Now, the celebration continues on the field as the incredibly realistic camera crew comes out to interview Matt Kemp, the hero of the day. He is definitely worthy of the Topps Player of the Game distinction, as his 3-run homer completely changed the course of this contest. And there's his home run. There it is again, and again, and again, and again. Just a huge, dramatic big fly to put his team on top in the 9th inning. There's the grounds crew cleaning up the field, and the game is in the books. If you want to read more about this project, check out thoughtsaboutbaseball.blogspot.com. This is Andrew Pankin signing off until Game 2. See you later.